How may I work through guilt, shame energy when wanting to offer an apology? I inadvertently offended my son's coach with an analytical review of the team's recent competition. I thought I was coming from a space of curiosity and consideration and inclusion, but I'm now realizing that perhaps there was a more deep seated need for competence as a parent, which I know I will need to work on elsewhere. What I also realized is that I had not met my needs for care, acknowledgement, and appreciation of the coach's hard work, as well as seeing how my son is having a great time on the team this season. Is this acceptable to ask? Yes. Yes. Okay, so great. Let's go. Let's go. Hi, CJ. Where shall we start? I just need you to unmute.
Ah,
There we
sorry.
go. Hi.
Hi, thank you for taking my question.
Of
Um,
course.
on one hand, I'm practicing so hard this new language, and there were people in my breakout room who said they're also doing that and failing
Yeah.
miserably. I love it that they're celebrating that, whereas I'm criticizing myself for doing that. So just learning how to do this. I'm learning how to um it's the I'm taking the compassion course and they talk about apology versus restoration. And so I'm trying to learn like how do I do this? How can I still feel guilty for coming across too strongly.
Mm-hmm.
So the crafting the words, I think I might be able to figure that out with all the different resources I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also aware, and I just watched Marshall Rosenberg's YouTube on like how to apologize, and he
Mm-hmm.
talks about this energy, and I'm like, so it's still here. How do I change? How do I shift out of it? And so that's kind of, in a way, a simple question, maybe, or maybe
Mm-hmm. Catch me up a little bit more on like when you say it's still here and the energy, what do you mean?
guilty. So I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling like, man, shouldn't I know better? Like I've done how many weeks of studying this? This is my second year of sort of trying to deep into MVC, and
Mhm.
I'm
What would
feeling
it be like to say to yourself, wow, domination programming is so strong and it takes such a long time to begin unlearning it?
more supportive.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
putting it.
We need so one place is we start talking to ourselves differently. When you find the stuff inside of you, the guilt, the shame, the self-criticism, um, I would take that as a like I'm discovering the domination system programming as it is living in me, and wow, it's entrenched. It gets into every nook and cranny. I find it inside of me everywhere, but it's not me. In fact, me is the part that can see it, observe it, recognize it, name it, and want to do something different. Yeah. And so I can see the ways in which I was taught to perceive and think and respond and react to people evaluatively, and it's going to seep out of me because it takes a long time to let my consciousness and my intention begin rewiring all of the neurology that has been wired by my upbringing. And I'm going to be really gentle with that every time I find it. Every time I find it, I'm going to use that as a moment. That waking up moment is also a soothing moment. Oh, I love that I'm waking up to this. I see it now. I love that I'm courageous enough to see it, that I'm awake enough, that I see enough contrast, that I can see a better way. This really matters to me. And I'm just finding one more place for me to practice the thing that I value from the inside out. And what I'm hearing in your question is um, I was able to reflect on how things may have come across to the coach. I'm attuned. I'm attuned to the feedback. I can see that it wasn't landing in the way that I meant. I can feel my big, loving heart online feeling some like a little bit of twinginess and disappointment that everything I was hoping to deliver didn't come through in that moment. So I'm going to take another run at it. And I'm going to actually revisit it and I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in the things that were missing the first time through. And that was my rough draft conversation. And now I'm going to go and add in more details and check for how it landed. And co-create a new way of being with this person. How is that landing as a way of holding it?
So much more open.
Yeah,
And I had a little bit of it, but I had a little bit of like, this is hard. I just did what I did, and that was habitual, and I'm trying to be more intentional. I got that part.
great.
I took it farther that I was blocked. I somehow was not able to allow myself to go that much farther.
Yeah.
So very much appreciate that.
One of the things I often tell myself is, "Oh, Yvette, this is what everybody is struggling with. This is actually you being in a place of shared humanity with everybody else. And this is this experience of like regret and oh shit, I didn't do it the way I wish I did. This is your stepping stone of empathizing with every other person who is in this place. You're just in it with them,
Mhm.
you know? And it's not about performing differently, it's about being willing to be engaged in a new process. And the new process is my rough draft offerings that are imperfect and messy and don't always land the way that my intentions would like them to. That's the process that I'm in. Now I get to revisit. Now I get to go back and say, hey, listen, there was something that I said to you, you know, a week or two ago that just didn't land well with me, and I've been thinking about it. And there's more that I wanted to check in with you about. I want to know how that came across to you because I have a feeling that what I was trying to convey or what I was aware of conveying or you know whatever is true for you in that moment, like it isn't everything. I didn't tell you the following things that's really important to tell you. And I also just want to find out how it actually felt for you because there's a story going on in my head and I want to know how close it is to what's true. And you know, if it was a painful thing and if it was something that felt, you know, I don't know what the relationship is, so you'll find the right language. But if it was injurious to you in some way, or if it did offend you, or if it did upset you, I want the opportunity to tell you that I care about that and that I'd like to fix it if I can, or at least convey to you that it matters to me and it wasn't my intention and I'd like to repair
I have to learn how to use those words.
it. Which ones feel easy and which ones feel hard?
I got feedback. So her on my email, I sent it by email. Her email, she punted it to the head coach.
Okay.
And then I heard back from the head coach to just
Mm,
say, right, like we'd like to make sure that we find a balance between your wanting to contribute as a parent and support of the team and the coach needing to do her work. And she's doing a great job. I believe in her skills. She's led the teams to great successes. And it's,
yeah.
it's true. My son is happy in her team, and my
Yeah.
son has actually moved on. And so
Yeah.
I heard back that feedback, which then made me realize, oh, that didn't land well.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
do and so I heard the part about there were some things I shared that the parts that I missed,
Yeah.
those I realized those come up a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like, again, change the words to actually fit how you would speak. But it sounds a little bit like going back to this other coach, not the head coach, but saying, hey, I wanted to just loop back to some of the things that I said the other day when I said blah, 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 blah. And I want you to know I've realized that probably came across in a way that is not at all aligned with what I was intending. And I really, really care about that. I did not mean to insult your intelligence. I did not. Here I was naively and enthusiastically giving my intellectual analysis in hopes that it would be supportive. And I have a fear that it came across as condescending or patronizing or intrusive or unwanted. And I am so sorry for that. Like I genuinely was trying to contribute, and I can see that the way in which I did it really did not land well. And it matters to me, and I want to make sure you and I are okay. And is there anything else you want me to know about that?
It's such a different way of talking,
Uh-huh.
but I can hear the care that comes behind the words, and that's what I would like to
Uh-huh.
make sure
Yeah.
happens this time, as opposed to what came across as criticism initial email.
The
So,
way you just said it is beautiful.
okay, for practice.
And the way you just said it, the words you just used, I see your hands on your heart like this, even that, like it's so, that is so gentle and loving and lovely. You already have the words right there.
Okay, I'll practice. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. How could a conversation possibly go badly when I'm coming back to tell you how much I care about you and that I'm willing to learn about how I come across sometimes, especially when it's not in alignment with what is true for me?
Mm, yes, I think from my end, as somebody had said recently to me, that this has not been done with me for much of my life, that
Yeah.
it feels very difficult and very sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you haven't received enough of it yourself to have internalized it. And so you're trying to generate something a little bit out of thin air and out of an idea, but not from a felt sense experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep creative work.
Yes.
It is.
Thank you so
It
much.
is deep creative work. That's what
I
it's going to take to shift this planet, is this kind of deep creative work.
I came thinking I could just get a script, maybe. I'm getting away. I'm walking away with mm, a much broader and richer understanding, and just a reminder as well.
I'm so glad.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Good luck. I will be very curious to know how it goes. I hope that you're met with so much grace and generosity and that it's a fabulous experience.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah. And if it isn't, come back and then we'll figure out the next step.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for your question. Good luck.